Is Robert De Niro calling for a bloody uprising right now on the left? Watch this, decide for yourself.
The original No Kings protest was 250 years ago. Americans decided they didn't want to live under the rule of King George III. They declared their independence and fought a bloody war for democracy. We've had 2.5 centuries of democracy since then, often challenging, sometimes messy, always essential. And we've fought in 2 world wars to preserve it. Now we have a would-be king who wants to take it away, King Donald I. That.
Okay, that was yesterday. We don't think there's any ambiguity about what Robert De Niro is calling on people to do this weekend. He wants people to get violent. And thousands of people are going to take part in these protests on Saturday. 40 are happening in the state of Connecticut alone. 40 separate No Kings protests are happening in one of the smallest states geographically in the country. 29 are happening in Rhode Island. They could all hold hands. And think about what these people are actually protesting. If Donald Trump is a king, I'm telling you, he's got to be the worst king in American, check that, world history. After 9 months in office, Donald Trump has ended 8 wars. I don't know a king in history that ended 8 wars. I also don't know any kings out there that would allow thousands of separate No Kings protests to take place in his kingdom on a Saturday. It's just so ridiculous when you think about it. They want this to be true so badly that they've completely lost themselves.
Gaslighting, plain and simple, saints. It's deception, it's lies, it's evil. Donald Trump is not a dictator. He's not an autocrat. But I tell you what, the Democrats are forcing him into a position that many U.S. presidents have been in times past. There's a reason why we call our president, the head of the executive branch, our commander-in-chief. He is in charge of the armed forces. And yes, at times, the armed forces has to be brought into individual states to force them to obey the law. This is what happened with the Civil War in the 1860s. This is what happened in the 1960s when the southern states didn't want to obey the change of the law of the land concerning segregation. The federal government, behind the orders of the president, had to go into those southern states and force the issue, force them to obey the law. So Donald Trump's not doing anything that several U.S. presidents haven't done before. He's absolutely within the bounds of the law. Yet the Democrats are never going to say that. They're going to blow everything out of proportion. They're going to lie. They're going to deceive and completely gaslight their people into a forceful, violent uprising. That's exactly what's happening. They're the ones that are forcing the issue. They're the ones that are forcing Donald Trump into this position. Never forget it. And remember, pray for your president and pray for this nation. For more content to help you with your Christian walk, be sure to follow, like, and subscribe.